All right, today we're looking at 750 watt foldable 20-inch fat tire e-bikes, and we're doing a pretty in-depth review based on known statistics and reviews. We're looking at voltage, watt hours, amp hours, bike weight, suspension, brakes, gears, and other features. And again, we mention and reference some expert and some user reviews. So let's take a look. Here we go. Okay, you can see here with the green thumbs that I recognize the Rad Power Mini and the Luna folding bike as the best options, and we're going to discuss why. Okay, there are a few things to point out here, primarily with the Luna folding bike. So not only does it have a mid-drive motor, the only one in this category, it also has a 52-volt battery, and it's also considerably lighter than the rest at 38 pounds. It also has 9 gears compared to everybody else. So that's the reason why I included this bike in this category. It doesn't have the fat tires, but it kind of has everything else. Okay, the other thing to point out on this chart is the Eohora Plus. It's the only one that has hydraulic brakes. The rest have mechanical brakes. Okay, here's another view of the bikes where we compare weight of the bike and battery watt hours. You can see that Eventin and Rad Power are on the high end in terms of watt hours, but they're the heaviest bikes. But despite this, they probably still have pretty good range. Luna, similar watt hours, but much lighter, so it potentially has tremendous range. You can see that on the low end in terms of watt hours, Victrix and Eohora probably have limited range, especially since they're still on the high end in terms of weight. Okay, first up we have the Rad Power Mini, undeniably the most popular bike in this category. It has a 48-volt battery, 14 amp hours, a whopping 672 watt hours, again the highest in this category, 7-speed system. It does have the 20x4 fat tires. It has a headlight and a tail light, and it does have front suspension. But unfortunately it's at the high end in terms of weight at 67 pounds, but it's at an affordable $14.99. In terms of reviews, according to Electric Bike Review, its integrated lights that run off the battery are a nice feature, and the planetary geared hub motor offers great power for starting, navigating soft terrain, and climbing. In terms of the bad, according to Digital Trends, it can be awkward to carry, and various users have noted that there are no lockout on the front forks. Okay, next up we have the Victrix Clyde LT. It has a 48-volt battery, only a 10.5 amp hour battery, 500 watt hours, so again small on the battery capacity end. It does have an 8-speed system. It doesn't have any suspension. It's kind of middle of the road in terms of weight at 60 pounds, and it's kind of on the high end in terms of price at $16.99. According to Electric Bike Review, the various good and bad reviews, they noted that it does have an integrated bolt-on rear rack, so that's good, and it has included steel fenders. But unfortunately, it can be hard to walk when folded, and you must keep keys in it at all times to operate. Okay, next up we have the Luna folding e-bike. It has a 52-volt battery, which is the highest in the category. It has 12 amp hours, 624 watt hours, which is on the high end. It does have 20 by 1.5 inch tires, so not the fat tires. It does also have 9 speed, which is the highest speed count in this category, but it has no suspension. It does have a full color display, which is exciting and unique. It's at a very low weight of only 38 pounds, and it's at the very high end in terms of price at $1,800. In terms of various users, they do like the full color display, and they find it very easy to maneuver on the road terrain. And they find it very simple and easy to get around in terms of nimbleness. In terms of the bad, it has poor battery mount, and they don't like that there's no suspension, obviously, and no headlight or tail light. Okay, next up we have the Motor M150. It has a 48-volt battery, 11.6 amp hours, and 556 watt hours, which is definitely on the low end. It does have 7 speeds. It has a headlight and a brake light, and front suspension. It's on the high end in terms of weight at 65 pounds and middle of the road in terms of cost at just under $1,600. The good: front suspension, preload adjustment, and lockout. Electric Bike Reviews likes that the bike actually balances upright by itself when folded in half. And in terms of the bad, the derailleur and shifter are entry level, according to Electric Bike Review, and various users note that it's back heavy, making it difficult to carry and load unload at times.
Okay, next up we have the Eventin Cinch, 48 volt battery, 14 amp hours, 672 watt hours, which is on the high end, 7-speed, front suspension. It's heavy at 68 pounds and middle of the road in terms of cost at just under $1,500. In terms of the good and the bad, Electric Bike Review notes that it likes its wide saddle, and it also likes the quality of its drivetrain and its derailleur. In terms of the bad, no standard fenders, the throttle cannot be activated from a standstill. You have to start moving by pedaling first. It doesn't really kick in until like 2 to 3 miles per hour. And there's no latch or magnet mechanism for holding the bike in the folded position, and it can be quite heavy and unwieldy. Okay, our final bike is the Eohora X7 Plus. It has a 48 volt battery, 10.4 amp hours and 499 watt hours, which is definitely on the low end. It does have 8 speeds, full suspension. It comes in at 60 pounds, and it's just under $1,500. In terms of the good, regenerative braking feature, which recharges the battery while riding. The handling is nimble on and off road, and it has hydraulic disc brakes, and the suspension fork has preload and lockout adjustment. And that is all based on user and expert reviews by bikeride.com. The same company also says that the standover bar is tall, and many users report that there's poor customer service. Alright, that's going to do it for this review. Hopefully I've given you some good information to think about. I'd be grateful if you could like and subscribe. And as always, God bless. Peace out.